Darren Bailey has some big challenges to overcome in his run for Illinois governor. Three adversaries of the United States could pose a serious threat if they form a serious alliance. And a third party will try to make its presence felt in American government and American politics. We'll cover that this morning with former Rock Island County Republican Party Chair Drew Milkey and former Scott County Democratic Party Chair Carl Romberg. Great to see you both. Let's get right to it. We will start by going forward. Actually, it is the Forward Party I'm referring to. It's a third party with hopes of wrecking the hold the existing two-party system has on American politics. Former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang is behind it. He's the party's co-chair, along with Republican former New Jersey Governor Christine Todd Whitman. Now, the biggest change they want is ranked choice voting. They see it as a way to elect more moderate candidates from both of the two major parties and argue the current political funding mechanism favors Democrats and Republicans while keeping other parties from being any serious factor. There are several other political parties in this country, but none with any real power to make a difference. The Forward Party wants to attract Democrats and Republicans. We've certainly heard of the Green Party and Libertarian Party, and Ross Perot made a quick run with the Reform Party. But what do you think of this idea overall? What would it take to make some real inroads, Carl?
Jim, I think that the deck might be stacked against them. I know we've seen third parties, and as you said in the warm-up, they have very little clout. I couldn't think of a worse month than August to roll out a third party prior to the midterms. They probably would be much more successful promoting this idea after the election in November, December, and January. But the electoral college system, the winner-take-all system of electoral votes, and the requirement that a candidate for president in particular receive a majority of all electoral votes kind of mitigates against a third party and kind of captures the United States in a two-party system.
I think they also want to try to make big inroads in Congress as well, Senate, when it comes to the Senate and the House, and I think they want to,
might have a better chance with House seats. Again, Senate seats are winner-take-all across an entire state. Might have a better chance with House seats. I could certainly grant that.
And I think, and Drew, I think they're trying to make it so that existing Republicans and Democrats can still be Democrats and Republicans, but are going after a more moderate base here. What do you think of the concept overall, Drew?
Well, I think it comes out of the toxicity and the polarization that we've seen in both parties. And I don't think it has a future. It's a noble experiment. Carl's absolutely right. It's winner take all in our system, and our two-party system works. It works. At times it's polarized. That's the negative side of it. But it does work, and I don't see a third party, the way our system is set up, as having any traction. I encourage people in both parties to work within their party and make the changes that they deem necessary. That's what I encourage people to do. The third party, I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
I think the argument they're making is that the current system isn't working, though, that too many extreme voices are running the parties and not reaching any solution, that Congress is stagnant.
Well, Jim, we definitely need to lower the rhetoric somewhat, and I might plead guilty once or twice on being a little loud myself. And that would be a good thing. But as Drew said, and I agree, I think structurally it's going to be tough to mount a third party. Ross Perot, I mean, you just go through history, George Wallace, any of the third party challengers, Anderson, all really tough go.
We'll see. They're in it for the long haul, so they say. Let's move on. China threatens Taiwan, Russia at war with Ukraine, adding tension in Eastern Europe. Iran has ambitions of being a nuclear power. All three countries certainly consider the United States an adversary. The New York Times reports Russian President Vladimir Putin only left the geographical area that used to be the Soviet Union twice this year, and that was to visit China and Iran. That raises the idea that the three could form some kind of an alliance if they haven't already. And the big concern would be that all three take some form of confrontational action against the United States at the same time. How concerned should the United States be about this possibility? What, if anything, could be done to address it? Drew, what do you think here?
We should be very concerned. I know that the Nancy Pelosi traveling to Taiwan is what's the latest trigger for this. But I think we've set, our country has set ourselves up, the way we exited Afghanistan and then the way we did not respond to Putin's aggression in Georgia and Crimea. And I know we're kind of staying on the sidelines in Ukraine. But I think that we've showed them that we have weakness and we're not willing to engage or at least be on the forefront of the world stage. As far as China, we do so much trade with China now. It'd be, I don't know if it'd be in their best interest to have too much aggression, but I think our biggest concern right now is going to be Taiwan. On Thursday, they already did military exercises on all 4 sides of Taiwan. So it is a big concern in our security, our national security.
Carl, what do you think about the idea that all 3 could form some kind of alliance that could actually be detrimental to the United States?
Certainly, I want to echo Drew's perspective that international relations are very, very important to the United States, and peaceful international relations more so. I think there is, first of all, I think Premier Xi is posturing for his 3rd re-election to a 5-year term at his party conference later this fall. The speaker's trip to Taiwan was originally planned for April. There was no dust-up from the Chinese diplomatic corps about any of this. The speaker unfortunately came down with COVID and was unable to travel, so this is now the fulfillment of her promise to visit Taiwan. Congresspersons visit Taiwan on a regular basis. I understand that China lays claim to Taiwan as it is 100 miles across the Taiwan Strait from mainland China, but Cuba is 90 miles across the Gulf from the United States, and Russia is 50 miles across the Bering Strait from the United States. So China is going to have to learn to live in the world along with the rest of us. I think a great deal of what we're seeing right now is posturing, but it is not to be taken lightly. And to answer your question more directly, I think there is too much cultural difference between the Chinese, the Russians, and Iran for them to form a long-term coalition. We have seen Sino-Soviet alliances in the past during the Cold War. The United States has done more for the country of Ukraine than any other country on the earth, and we will continue to do more. We are the leading country in terms of democracies on the planet, and we will continue to be. So while it is a great concern, I don't think it's an overwhelming problem at this point in time.
Let's get to one last topic. I want to get to one last topic before we go. This is not a good week for Republican Darren Bailey's gubernatorial campaign in Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker went on the attack with a video of Bailey from 5 years ago where Bailey compared the Holocaust and abortion. In it, Bailey says, quote, "The attempted extermination of the Jews of World War II doesn't even compare on a shadow of the life that has been lost with abortion." Now, the Chicago Sun-Times reported this week that Bailey tried to downplay his remarks from 2017 by saying the Holocaust is a human tragedy without parallel. Now, Bailey's problems don't end there. He also has a cash problem. Politico reports big money billionaire donor Dick Uihlein is cutting off his cash flow, and that Uihlein hasn't made any direct contributions to the Republicans' campaign since the primary. Uihlein is directing his money instead to a conservative political action committee. Bailey already came into the general election, you can say, as an underdog. This is high-stakes politics when you get to governor's races. How hard will it be for him to come back from this, and can he, Drew?
I think he will. I think this was something he said in 2017 during a senatorial race. It was an unfortunate statement. But, you know, I visited Dachau in 2020, and I know that he wasn't directing this at Jews. He wasn't it was a sad comparison, but, you know, there was 15,000 gays that were killed in Germany, and 2,500 clergy were killed in Dachau. I seriously doubt that people really believe that he was throwing malice at any of these people or the situation. I think it was an unfortunate phrasing that he picked.
Don't have a lot of time, Carl, but, you know, one slip-up does cost people campaigns sometimes.
Yeah, I think the remarks were very unfortunate. They were deeply offensive to the Jewish community. I, too, have visited Dachau, and it is a horrifying place to be in. But Pritzker is just making hay out of Bailey's campaign. I think Ken Griffin's also walked away, who was supporting Richard Irvin in the primary. So Bailey's really got money problems. Pritzker has no money problems. He's very well self-financed and is raising money through Democratic Governors Association and all the other PACs. So like, the ads we're seeing on TV right now are very damaging to Pritzker. The major issue of this campaign is going to be autonomy for women's health choices. And Bailey couldn't possibly be on the further on the wrong side of that issue than he is already.
Well, this is big money politics.
Pritzker's going to make hay with it.
This is big money politics, and that makes 3 for 3 on us visiting Doc Howe. Carl Romberg, Drew Milkey, thank you both for your time. Both of you be safe. Now our question of the week. What do you think about a potential alliance among Russia, China, and Iran? Send your answer by email to fortherecord@whbf.com or respond to this post on Facebook at the Local 4 News WHBF TV page or on my page.